You know, the brick and stone on our homes. It gives them so much character, so much strength. But here's the thing, it's not invincible. So today we're going to break down everything you really need to know about masonry repair so you can protect your property's integrity and, of course, its curb appeal.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever been walking outside and noticed a tiny little crack that you swear wasn't there last week? Or maybe you've seen a weird discolored patch on the chimney? Well, that's your home literally trying to talk to you, and it's probably a good idea to listen.
Because you see, what might look like just a simple cosmetic flaw could actually be the very first sign of a much, much larger problem brewing underneath. The key thing here is that ignoring these little warning signs can lead to some pretty serious structural issues and, believe me, much bigger repair bills down the road. So why does this even happen? I mean, masonry feels so permanent, right? But the truth is, it's in a constant battle with the elements. Over time, you've got weather, the foundation settling, those wild temperature swings. They all take their toll. And that's exactly when you start to see those first little signs of wear and tear.
And this right here, this quote really gets to the absolute heart of the matter. Being proactive, it's not just about keeping your house looking nice. It's a genuinely smart financial decision that protects your biggest investment. It's simple. Fixing things early stops small problems from turning into massive, costly ones.
Okay, so what exactly should you be on the lookout for? Let's dive in and break down the most common red flags that are basically screaming that your masonry needs a little bit of attention.
You know, what's really interesting here is just how interconnected all these issues are. For example, when your mortar starts to deteriorate, it lets water in. That water then leads to spalling, especially when you get those freeze-thaw cycles. And see that white powdery stuff? It's called efflorescence. That's a crystal clear sign that water is moving through your brickwork right where it shouldn't be.
And yes, speaking of spalling, let's just define that really quick because it's a term you'll hear a lot. Basically, when water seeps into the masonry, then freezes and expands, it can literally pop the face right off the brick or stone. So it's way more than just a surface issue, it's a huge sign of moisture damage coming from deep inside.
Okay, we've identified the problems. Now for the good news. There are really effective professional solutions for all of them. So let's take a look at the key techniques a skilled mason has in their toolkit.
What's really important to understand is that each problem needs its own specific solution. This is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of situation. You know, a tiny crack might just need a little epoxy fill. But if you've got widespread mortar decay, well, you're probably looking at a full-on tuck pointing job.
And let's just talk about tuck pointing for a second, because it's one of the most common and, frankly, most vital repairs out there. This isn't just about patching a few holes. It's about carefully grinding out all the old, failed mortar and then replacing it to restore the wall's structural integrity and its ability to keep water out. It's an absolute game changer.
So this brings us to the big question every homeowner faces at some point. Can you actually fix this yourself, or is it time to call in a professional? And believe me, the answer can save you a ton of time, money, and some serious headaches.
This slide here lays it out perfectly. I mean, sure, you can save on labor costs with a DIY approach, but the risk is huge. If you use the wrong kind of mortar or the wrong technique, you could actually trap moisture inside the wall and cause even more damage than what you started with. A pro costs more upfront, but what you're really paying for is expertise and, just as importantly, a warranty on the work.
So is there a clear line in the sand, a point where doing it yourself is just not an option? Oh, absolutely. Let's look at the non-negotiables.
Okay, listen up. If you see a wall that's actually bowing or leaning, that's a structural problem. Don't touch it. Call an expert immediately. The same goes for any work that requires scaffolding or working up on a chimney. And honestly, if you just want the peace of mind that the job is done right and it's guaranteed, a professional is always the right call.
All right, so you've decided to hire a pro. Fantastic choice. But how in the world do you find the right one? Let's walk through how to properly vet a contractor to make sure you get high-quality work.
Just follow these 3 steps and you'll be in great shape. First, licensing and insurance. These are non-negotiable. They protect you. Second, references. They give you that real-world feedback. And finally, getting multiple detailed proposals helps you compare apples to apples, so you know exactly what you're paying for.
And this slide right here highlights a really important point: why hiring local actually matters. A local contractor understands your area's specific climate, like the intense freeze-thaw cycles you might get. They already know the local building codes, they can respond way faster, and hey, their community reputation is on the line with every single job they do.
So, if there's one single thing to take away from all this, let it be this. Don't wait for a small crack to become a crumbling wall. Staying ahead of masonry issues is truly the single most effective way to protect your home's safety, its value, and its beauty.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. The next time you walk around your property, take a closer look. Really look. Because your walls, your chimney, your front steps, they're all telling a story. And after this, you know exactly how to read it.